This is the little power supply I'm building, and I'll show you how I got here in another video. This is not a video about the power supply, but this heatsink and these fans are merely to transfer the heat generated by the pass transistor into the air. Doesn't seem like a lot, but that little fellow can dissipate 90 or 100 watts, which causes the temperature to get sky high unless we can get rid of the heat. So keeping that in mind, let me show you. This is a pass transistor array. There are 7 times 7 2N305 transistors. These transistors, I believe, I'm not sure, it's been a long time, are drivers for these transistors. Most of these transistors have a date code of 7614. So it's the 14th week of 76 that the transistors were made. Now some of these have been replaced. Here's one with this 8716 date code. It's not an RCA, which all the rest are. And it's 10 years newer. I worked on this, and a number of other people in the shop worked on these. These were, I think this machine had 3 of these actually. Here are some really, I think they're 50 or 100 amp diodes. Reverse protection, I think. And look at the other side here. It's heavier than I remember. This side is hinged so that we could swing it out of the door. Like I say, I think 3 of these are mounted vertically. Each transistor is, I believe each transistor is individually fuse protected, although these seem not to be there. Again, my memory is sort of sketchy. Current equalization resistor. Actually, the 3 transistor terminals are picked up by this row of bus bars. There was a time delay relay that energized this part of the board. And if you look carefully, you'll see this. Well, I'll tell you, this is an aluminum plate. Here's an aluminum tube going zig, 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 the whole way around, returns to here. So it starts here, returns to there. It's welded to the plate. And water was supplied through these hoses. Now this just isn't city water. City water came into this unit and went into a heat exchanger. Internal to the unit was a deionized water recirculation loop. Being that this is, it may be stainless. I bet it is stainless, that's why it's so heavy. Even stainless pipe tends to build up bad stuff if it's used on city water. Fortunately, when we drink city water, it doesn't clog our water handling parts up. Long-term use of city water is horrible. Believe me, I worked in the water business for 40 years. Horrible. So you don't want to put city water directly through these aluminum or stainless steel pipes. Now, the city water heat exchanger was a device about 6 or 8 inches in diameter, 2.5 feet long. I've replaced 2 heat exchanger units, but maybe just one in this unit and one in another one. And the problem was universal. The city water would eat a hole through the tubing. And that would cause contamination of the deionized water. And we had a deionized water purity indicator that immediately shut this down and stopped the flow of all water. I mean, the only thing you could do is replace this whole unit. The tubing is brazed or whatever to the back plate. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. This transistor is missing. I believe it's that one. Yes, it's that one. Somebody soldered some diodes in. I don't remember doing that, although it may have been a practice. Somebody may have taken this whole row out of service. That could explain the missing fuses. This is how we used to handle heat removal on past transistor devices. You can see the brazing here on the tubing. And each one of these transistors is then surrounded by, at least on one side, no, on both sides, by a tube. So you can do the math. These things may have operated at 10 amps apiece, but probably the designer intended to be 5 or 6 amps apiece. The transistor itself is rated 15 amps. But these things were very conservatively designed. In fact, you can see only one, well, we don't know what's happening here. Well, whoever took that transistor out cleaned up the white stuff. Only one transistor's ever been replaced on this unit. And these used to run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is back when men were men and heat sinks were a serious thing. I hope you enjoyed this little bit of trivia. Thank you.